Hey, this is Nika Monfort, aka Tech Savvy Diva,
Yo, this is Terrence Gaines, aka Brother Tech.
and you're listening and or watching the snobOS show, the show where we talk all things Apple and then some. Happy New Year, everyone! We made it to
Right?
2021. Welcome
Did we?
back.
Did we though?
Technically, it's December 37th, 2020, but we're just gonna say, it's January 2021. Welcome back. Welcome to the first episode of the snobOS show. We had a really great pre-show where we talked about some of the things that's been going on in our country, as well as catching up and getting back into the groove of the new year. So with that being said, if you want access to that type of content, you can become a Patreon and you can support us for as little as $5 a month. With that $5, you get access to our live taping, which is every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You also get access to the pre-show, and you also get access to our Discord chat. And if you were in the pre-show, you would have heard about what's going on with the Discord chat. But join, become a patron, and you too can get the inside information. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We like to start off every year by reviewing our last year's tech predictions and also putting out our new year tech predictions. So we will start off with our 2020 tech predictions and see how we did. All right, Terrence, you want to start with yours?
Yeah, so the first one I had was I predicted this first of last year that Apple would come out with a smaller, less expensive iPhone. And that prediction looks like it was true because not only did they do the iPhone SE 2, which was less expensive, they also came out with the iPhone 12 mini, which was even smaller than the iPhone SE 2. So they came out with two smaller, less expensive, not the same type of features, but something more affordable to reach out to the group of people who, would, not have any other choice but to gravitate towards a lower cost Android. Now they have two options to get a entry level iPhone and then, see how they like it, or if their situations change, then they can upgrade to the iPhone proper. So I'll take a check for that
Ding!
tech prediction.
All right, so my first prediction from 2020 was the lowly Air Power Mat. I said it was going to come back and it was going to be rebranded, and that's fake news. It's dead. It's buried. It's not coming back ever in life. They gave us the
Nope.
MagSafe, but no Air Power Mat. So much so that they have, I think we talked about this before, that they are working with third party companies that already have like a power mat.
Right.
So yeah. So no.
I think what are some of the companies? There's one that pops up in my head. But anyway, yeah, like you said, they've pretty much said, y'all do that.
We're gonna let
So
y'all
we're not
have that
doing
over
that.
there. We're not doing it
Right.
anymore. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
So mine second one was Apple was going to add the ability to let users add gift cards to Apple Cash or Apple Wallet. Because right now with Apple Wallet, if you got a debit card, if you got a credit card, you can add that to Apple Wallet. And then when you go to pay, you can use your watch or your phone, or if you're on the internet, use your iPad or your Mac to make purchases. What I thought would be a dope idea would be if Apple gave the ability to, like, if you go to the grocery store and as you're cashing out or going to the register, they've got the I forget, kiosk with all the
The
different gift
different kind of gift
cards.
cards.
You can get an Amex or a Visa. You can get a
A
Home
restaurant,
Depot,
yeah.
Netflix, restaurant. Yeah, you would be able to purchase those, and then Apple Wallet would give you the ability to add those to Apple Wallet. So when you go, to the movie theaters, when you go to Home Depot, whatever that gift card was for, you could actually use your phone, your watch, tablet, computer to actually make those purchases. That did not happen. Apple is they want to keep it within their own ecosystem, and they want you to use the Apple credit card apparently because outside of credit cards, debit cards, you cannot, as of yet, add gift cards to Apple Cash, which would have came in handy because all my family wanted to do was give my kids money for Christmas this year, and we had to figure out how to get that into their bank accounts when they simply could have given them a gift card, and they could have added that to Apple Wallet. So that tech prediction, thumbs down, did not work.
All right. So my next prediction was a Apple Wallet update. While we did get an update, it's not what I originally was hoping for. You can add multiple cards now. I know I recently added my insurance card to it. I think when I made this prediction, I was thinking you can add your driver's license. You can add, individual gift cards. You could, do so much more with your phone and this wallet rather than having, all these actual physical wallet. You could have a digital wallet that literally you could stack all of your things in there, all the things that are important.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, driver's license, passport, or, insurance cards. While you can add insurance cards, I have Aetna and they allow you to do that. I think that's something more with Aetna working in partnership with Apple rather than Apple having this broad way for people to be able to use it. So there was an update. There were improvements to Apple Wallet, but not to the level that I was hoping for. So this is kind of a midway kind of, yes.
All right. So my third one was Apple or technology in general was going to advance to where we wouldn't have to use our phones or our watches or, some of the credit cards have the NFC or the wireless option. We were going to be able to do like Amazon is trying out with in the Whole Foods to where they are going to use facial recognition to be able to recognize who I am and then link that to some sort of credit card or some sort of payment. If I'm at a vendor like a food truck place, they could hold their phone up, scan my face, and that will link to my many different, payment options. And then I go about my business. Amazon, outside of Amazon, nobody's doing that. So I'll take an L on that one because it hasn't reached any sort of swell to where anybody outside of Amazon now the FBI and the feds are trying to track us in other ways, but not to pay for stuff, So I'll take an L on that one.
All right. And my next one is I said AI integration in a tangible and visual way. I have this as a kinda as well, because as we've seen with like some sporting events, with COVID, you were able to be at the game but not be at the game. We had some sort of augmented, reality type of integrations as well. So we kind of had some of this, but not fully. But what I do believe is with the year of COVID that we had in 2020, I think we're going to see some real trends and transitions as it relates to how we use augmented reality in virtual reality and AI. That's, I guess, more for the next year's prediction. But I think we've started, with this, particularly, like I said, since we're in COVID, but not fully as it could be. So.
Right. All right, and let's see. My last one was we will witness a form of cyber attack, and we did have something. I can't remember what it
the
was.
Solar Winds. That we talked about before we left. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was. So we haven't, they still haven't given us all the information, but apparently, towards the end of the year, it was announced or discovered that I don't, I think Russia, I think
It was Russia. Yeah.
everybody but yeah, everybody but the president said it was Russia. They were able to infiltrate, a whole bunch of different federal government
The
offices,
alphabet soup.
NSA, FBI, yeah, the alphabet soup of government departments. And we don't know what they got. We don't know. I think they kind of got a window of when they got in, but we don't
Hmm.
know what they got, if they're still in, if they were ever kicked out because this current administration has been doing other stuff. So all that to say, and it kind of tied down to this government contractor, SolarWinds, who were doing some real basic stuff, or let me rephrase, wasn't doing the real basic stuff in order to keep people out. Some people got at high level access. They were able to then use that to infiltrate the government offices, the government departments as a whole. So you could consider that as a cyber attack because, again, they attacked us. They were successful. We're not sure how they're going to use that data because, again, we don't know exactly what they got yet. But time will tell. But I will take that as a yes on my predictions in the sense that yes, we were attacked by major departments were attacked, and they were not attacked physically. They did it all via the internet.
All right. And I have two more. iPhone redesign. I wrote last year more of a hope than a prediction, and we got the iPhone 12, iPhone 12
Hmm.
mini, iPhone 12 Pro, iPhone 12 Pro Max. So yay for that. I'll take that. And
That's a
that
softball.
was an easy one, but
We
hey,
would come hard.
but hey. And then this one as well, new Apple hardware. And we know we always get new Apple hardware. But I think the biggest thing I have here, iPad Pro, iPhone, Apple Watch, but I think the biggest thing is the release of the M1 chip in the MacBook Air, MacBook
Hmm.
Pro, and the Mac Mini. So
Hmm.
I'll take that one too.
All
All
right, all
right.
right.
So that's for 2020. Not too shabby, not
Hmm.
too bad. We were kind of on trend. Was there anything that came out that we were surprised by? I'm trying to think. I don't I don't think so.
I would say the iPhone 12 mini. I would assume that they when they did the iPhone SE2, that would have been enough. But since they did do the iPhone 12 mini, which is even smaller, I guess that would be a surprise because you think when you think of Apple, you think of the brand loyalty, you think they can charge whatever, so they're not really going to. They give you one opportunity for entry level device, less expensive, but they gave us two, so I maybe that could be a surprise, but I can't think of anything Apple or otherwise that was truly surprising.
Surprising, no. Apple Car maybe, but we don't even know if that's a real thing or not.
Well, they're talking about it.
Yeah.
It's rumored. Why not? But no concrete evidence come out of that yet.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so let's pop into our 2021 tech predictions. I'm going to be honest, I haven't really given a whole lot of thought to this because it's the Wild Wild West out here. And my
Right.
focus has been on the TV, on the news, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, are we dead yet? Are we dead yet? But we do have a few things to talk about. So you want to start with your first prediction?
Yeah. So Apple came out with the HomePod Mini this
Which you
year. So
cannot
they
get.
initially,
I've been trying for months to
right.
get one, and it's so
Yeah,
hard to
you
get
cannot
one.
get them. Right. Super inexpensive. What is it? $99.
$99, yo.
Uh, right. To pair with the regular HomePod, which is still a thing. I think that's like 199 or
It's 199.
249. I think the price of that is. So yeah, not 199. So with the HomePod Mini, they announced all these cool features. Multiple people it'll remember your voice. So if I come in and say play this song, it'll recognize who I am, it'll pull that song from my playlist, and then if my wife or my kids come in, it'll pull it from their playlist. So it'll recognize the new technology within the HomePods, will recognize who you are. Another additional thing that they'll do is you can use HomePod minis as an intercom. So if you've got them set up in multiple places in the house, you can actually say, "Hey, everybody, come down to dinner." It'll, go out to those respective HomePod, the HomePod and HomePod mini, and they did tighter integration with HomeKit. So unlock doors, who's at the front door, what to lock the door, all those type of things. So, and also they sound good, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they're good price. So all that to say, I don't think Apple is going to stop at the home pods. My prediction for 2021, I think Apple is going to release a sound bar that you can use as your home entertainment speaker. Now, you can technically use the HomePod, the bigger one, and set your Apple TV up to AirPlay, or if you've got another AirPlay compatible device like a TV, you can set that up to wirelessly technically play your TV sound through those speakers. But if you think of like a traditional sound bar, I've got Sonos sound bars that, in addition to doing wireless whole house audio, I can, with a optical cable or an HDMI cable, I can physically connect that to my television, and all of my TV sound with a wire can be connected to this sound bar. You can't do that with the HomePod Mini. You have to rely on AirPlay 2, and you can't do that with both of the devices. I think it's the HomePod Mini you can't do it with. You can only do the AirPlay. I can't remember. I had to do some research on that. All that to say, the HomePod Minis are not a true home entertainment TV speaker. So I think Apple is going to come out with a sound bar, sound pod, maybe, I don't know, bar mini, whatever the name of it. They're going to come out with a traditional home entertainment soundbar that I can physically connect to my television to have all of my movies, Roku, Apple TV. If you're using just a regular smart TV, you can connect that to this Apple soundbar and then pump your regular television TV through it, in addition to connecting it to the other devices, doing the intercom, doing all the stuff that you do with a HomePod. They're going to add that technology and then some to this Apple soundbar that they're going to release maybe in October, November of next year, after they announce the iPhone 13 or whatever they call it.
Okay. For me, I think we are going to see a cheap version of an SE version, if you will, of AirPod Pros. We've seen SE versions of the iPhones. We now have like a mini, cheaper version of the HomePod. So I think we are going to see a low cost alternative AirPods Pro.
Okay. All right. So my second one, I only got two because I'm same thing with Nika. I've been plugged into my television for the past 2 days, like I'm pretty sure everybody else is. I was going to make the joke that, there's a picture out, to where you can see they did like a bar graph of, was yesterday, 7 o'clock, it started to go up. And at around 12 o'clock, it got to the middle, wasn't at the top because who's productive 100% all day long, but it was like up there. And then 1 or 2 o'clock, when all this crazy stuff happened, everybody's productivity went down to nothing. So I'll add myself to that list. And so
Yeah, my last
we're
work
putting
email,
together.
my last work email was at like 12:15.
Right.
And I didn't get anything else. No IMs,
Right.
nobody bugging
Right.
me, nothing. I thought
Right. So
my internet connection was down because I was like, wait a minute, I don't have anything coming in.
right, right. So all that to say, I've been distracted, so I didn't really give the predict predictions much thought. But seeing as if we're in this new COVID pandemic era, and I think everybody is being figuring out how to still run business, but make it safer, make it easier, make it more convenient. I'm actually going to take Nika's prediction from last year with the whole wallet update, and I'm going to use that as my tech prediction for 2021. And the proof of that, so that prediction is they're going to make digital wallets more accessible to different things: driver's license, medical IDs, dentists, passports. One of the things, the reason why I want to use that this year is because this whole vaccination thing that's starting to make its way into our everyday lives. States, governments, offices, they're going to have to figure out, one, how to better let people know that they're available and eligible for vaccination, number one. And then two, they need to figure out how to then proof that you've been vaccinated. So I think um, companies, states out there already trying to come up with mobile apps, come up with, IDs and all these different digital ways. I think that's going to carry over into other ways as well. So, in addition to this year seeing COVID vaccination apps to where you can hold your phone up and they'll be able to scan your barcode to tell whether or not you've been vaccinated, what stage are you at in the vaccination. There's some of them out there to where you got to take two
2 shots, yeah.
doses. So, right. So you'll be able to scan your wallet. They'll be able to tell if you've had one or both, and then if you're traveling, like, we'll talk about it a little bit later in the show. There are some airlines, there are some travel companies that are requiring you show proof that you've been vaccinated before you can travel. So you'll be able to use your phone for that. And I just think that's going to carry over. And then more people are going to start adopting that. More people are going to start using mobile wallets to pay for things. They're going to start using more mobile wallets for, health identification. And then, in addition to this whole COVID thing. So I think mobile wallet is going to be mainstream in 2021. So that's my second and final prediction of this year.
And my second and final prediction is I think we are going to have widespread access and mainstream access to AR devices. I remember, if you remember a while back, they had the Google Glass. I think with the technology that we have now, with the way that we use this visual computation, I think we are going to see devices that aren't just concept or just a couple people have them. I think I want to say I was looking around and hearing rumblings. I think maybe Facebook is doing something with this. I think Apple may be doing something with this. But I think where we are in technology and where we are in society, particularly with, the lockdown phase of this and the way that I think our society is going out, there's no going back to normal. It's only going to new at this point. And I think we'll have actual mainstream access where anybody can go in and physically buy an everyday usage AR device. I'm not talking about like your Oculus or your virtual headsets for gaming. I'm talking about for practical everyday purposes. I think we're going to get some sort of device for that.
Okay. Apple is, again, same thing with the Apple Car. I think have been rumored to do some sort of Apple Glass. I'm surprised you mentioned, in addition to just using Oculus, just as a side note, I'm surprised that the NBA, the NFL, any sort of sporting they're not knocking down the doors of virtual reality, augmented reality to get people virtually to these sporting events, because I think the NBA does it a little bit, but they really don't promote it. Oculus really doesn't promote it. This would be the perfect opportunity to say, hey, you want the court side or home court experience in your living room, put these things on your head and blah 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 blah. But
They're
not
so
really. So
they're
I'm
so
surprised that
focused
they haven't
on
been doing it.
they're so focused on getting people back physically into the building, because I get it. Parking is money. People flying in is money. Concessions are
Concessions.
money. Trinkets, those type of things. I get it. But I think they're really missing the boat on this.
Yeah, yeah. So all right. So those are our predictions for the year. We'll make sure we keep an eye on that, and like I said, when they come up, we'll definitely check them off the list if they come up early.
Yep. All right, that's it for our tech predictions. Let's go ahead and hop into the lowdown where we talk all things Apple. We only have a couple of things to talk about this week in the lowdown because we did spend quite a bit of time going through our tech predictions. So let's go ahead and get started with the news for the lowdown. I don't think really anybody is too surprised, but Apple did announce that they had record spending in the App Store this year for the holidays. In the article that I'm reading from 9 to 5 Mac, $540 million alone on New Year's Day. So people are spending money, and they are spending a lot of it. It looks like overall, the App Store has made developers more than $200 billion since its launch in 2008. So that's what, just over 20 years? No.
Yep.
Yep. And it also said that, App Store customers spent 1.8 billion on digital goods and services over the week between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So that's roughly a week and a half. That's
Right.
1.8 billion with a B. And as I mentioned at the top of the story, 540 million on New Year's Eve, on New Year's Day alone. So somebody
Yep.
got some money and
I can
somebody's
attest
using
to
it.
that. I can attest to that because my middle child, she used just about all her Christmas money on in-app purchases in Roblox.
Roblox.
What is it? Robux. Yeah,
Robux.
Roblox.
Roblox.
Yep. Yeah, the app is called Roblox, and she bought Robux
Robux.
to then use in the store. So she used a nice amount of money to where I was like, "Are you sure?"
You want to spend
And
all
she was
this?
like, "Yep, I'm sure," and wasted it. Let me not say waste because one man's trash. I guess she
She
got
used
value out
it.
of it, right? So I guess that was worth it to her. Like I said, I got peanut M in the pre-show. I got peanut M&Ms for Christmas.
So
So
your peanut
and that
M&Ms were her Robux.
right, and that was valuable to me. So I guess that's valuable to her, I suppose. But yeah, she added to that number. All that to say,
So yeah, I just thought that was just interesting to note that the amount of money that's being spent in the App Store is pretty wild. All right. The next thing, the last story that we have in the lowdown, I think we talked about Spotify before in their integrations with iOS devices, but it looks like they have started beta testing a redesign for CarPlay. So not only did Spotify update their iOS app, it looks like they are now coming not only for your phones and devices to listen to music, they are coming for your car. So, as I mentioned, there's a standalone app for Spotify, and now they have this beta for CarPlay, and it's being most app testing is done through TestFlight, which is Apple's testing platform for their applications. But it looks like they have started the testing on this new feature for CarPlay. I believe you have CarPlay in one of your vehicles.
yeah. And basically, so Spotify is just, of course, Apple Music. They're going to highlight all their features. So with
Right.
CarPlay, and if I'm using Apple Music, you get all these features. I can see, all the different playlists. I can do all the different things. Well, Spotify is trying to step it up, and basically, the main feature I see here is you can see what's next in your Spotify queue without actually flipping your phone. Because, of course, while you're driving, you don't want to be playing with your phone. So they're giving that in-dash experience to where you can have more functionality with Spotify, like being able to see what's next in your, Spotify playlist or Spotify queue, whatever you're listening to. You can actually see what's up next, by going through the user interface via CarPlay. So that's like the main feature that they're touting. But again, we won't know until that rolls out. But again, like I said, you know, one of my ultimate goals would be to use my phone for everything, and all my entertainment, whether it be in the home or in the car, I should be able to connect my phone to my entertainment system in my car, and all of that, all my data, all my information, all my entertainment should translate over to the receiver in my car. So this is just another example of us getting more options to eventually get to that point.
Cool. And like you said, I think Spotify is really like they are now heavily into podcasting. I think they are trying to come for, I won't just say Apple, but they are coming for the whole, entertainment game as far as music and podcasting, to make sure that all their devices are that everybody's device is easily accessible to Spotify and their apps, regardless of the ecosystem that you're in.
Right.
All right. That's it for the lowdown. Let's head on over to Second String, where we talk all other tech. We have quite a few stories to talk about in Second String today, starting with the ubiquitous Facebook. As we've talked about in a couple of different episodes, that Facebook has really been fighting this new privacy feature that Apple has implemented in iOS 14, so much as to take out full page ads in newspapers, come up with, petty little sayings and pop-ups on their platform. And now it looks like Facebook is finally coming to the realization that they are going to have to comply with the new privacy features that are implemented in iOS 14. And they are now telling their business users, because that's how they came at the angle that they came out with trying to fight it, was it's going to hurt small businesses. So now they are, finally relenting, so to speak, and they are putting out to their business users that they have to follow through with these privacy features. I don't think that business users have a big issue with this. It's more on the Facebook end, but they have to, it's all a show and a dance, and they have to put out a stunt that we fought tirelessly to help you and protect you. But unfortunately, the big bad tech company, even though they're a big bad tech company, we have to follow their rules. We're against it. We don't believe it, but this is what we have to do.
Yeah, so their quote says Facebook told businesses that while it disagrees with Apple's solution, it has no choice but to show the opt-in prompt and continue using Apple's device identifier for advertising. Company states that it believes that Apple could block Facebook and its other apps from the App Store if it doesn't comply, bringing further harm to the businesses and users that rely on our services. So clearly, Facebook is trying to say, hey, this ain't us.
We're not trying to be like Fortnite and get pulled from the App Store.
Right, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, again, just goes back to, Facebook, they're going to have to decide, do they want to provide a experience for their users, and users can trust that their data is going to stay in-house, or are they going to say we need to make as much money as possible, so however we can get their data is however we're going to get it, and everything else be damned. So they've got a decision to make here, and Apple's not making it easy on them.
Right.
Or Apple's making the decision for them, rather.
Right. And, like I said before, it's one of those, we fought the good fight. We did all we could, and now we have to relent. But it's all a big show. All right. Let's head on over to the next story. WhatsApp. We all know that WhatsApp is owned by Facebook. And no matter how hard you try and fight it, as we just mentioned in the previous article about the sharing of the data, WhatsApp is going to share your data with Facebook, and there's essentially nothing you can do about it. They're going to share.
And they swore. I can clearly remember when Facebook bought WhatsApp, they said, we are not going to share data with Facebook, or Facebook's not going to share data with WhatsApp, and vice versa. Well, 4 years later?
It's 2021.
Here we are.
Here we are. And according to this article, Facebook bought WhatsApp for $19 billion with a B dollars.
Hmm.
And again, in this article, they're saying they gave reassurances in a blog post that I'll read just a part of the quote. There has also been a lot of inaccurate and careless information circulating about our future partnership, what would mean for WhatsApp's users' data and privacy. I like to set the record straight. And they go on to say that they respect the privacy, and they built WhatsApp to with the goal of having to know as little as possible. And just because they're partnering with Facebook doesn't mean that they're going to change their values. Well, $19 billion later, they're changing their values, and your
Hmm.
data is going to Facebook.
Yep, yep. So, I mean, what do you expect is going to happen for $19 billion? You gonna tell me not what I'm
You can't
not
tell me
going to be
what
able to
I'm gonna
do?
do with my stuff. Nope, sorry. We want the
Yeah,
data, we're
but
gonna get it. Especially now with this whole
right.
Apple deal, they're like, nope, we need all the data we can get, and we will take it from WhatsApp if we can't get it the way we normally want to. And we have control over
Mm,
WhatsApp, so we can make that happen.
yep.
All right. The next thing we have, I haven't read this one, so
Well, so and it's I'm gonna keep it really short because I didn't want to I had to have proof of my tech prediction, right? My tech prediction was, Apple's gonna roll out or make not just Apple. We are going to start using digital wallets more, right? So I try to come up with some proof, and the proof that I'm sourcing is with this whole COVID thing, right? Now we've got all these vaccinations coming out, and I just wanted to highlight these two stories, so I'm gonna make it real quick. New York has a I am eligible app that determines COVID-19 vaccination schedules. So, if you haven't been paying attention to the news prior to yesterday, this whole rollout of the vaccination hasn't been going as well. The administration at the middle of the year said we plan to roll out 20 million vaccinations, but as of right now, nine at if I'm guessing right, there's only been 9 million vaccinations administered. So leave it to technology to try to make this a little bit easier. So New York is rolling out this app that lets you literally check it to see if you're eligible for the actual vaccination. If you are eligible, the app will then connect you to where you can get the shot and allow you to schedule an appointment. So in one app on your smartphone, you can see if you're eligible and find out if you are eligible, find out where you can take it and how to schedule an appointment. To me, that's a no-brainer. Why didn't the government come up with this in the first place? That's a whole nother story.
but we
But
know why.
again, I just wanted to right, right. But we know why. But I just wanted to share that story to say that this digital wallet thing with your smartphone being the digital wallet is going to have more practical uses, i.e., the vaccination. So, in addition to that, there are some people who still can't stay still. So, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are itching to take this vaccination, not to stay healthy, not to not contaminate other people, but they need to take their family
They
vacations.
need to go to
So
the club. They
again,
need to go smoke hookah. They need to go to brunch.
right, right. So this other story I just wanted to share, further proof that we're going to need our smartphones to, prove that you've actually been vaccinated. So there are some airlines, and I'll put the right link in there, but there are Delta Airlines, Lithuania Airlines, a couple other airlines, and a couple other of travel companies are rolling out or will be rolling out apps that will enable you to prove that you have in fact been vaccinated. So instead of you carrying around some sort of ID card, vaccination ID card, so instead of you carrying around some sort of passport or some document that you have to carry around everywhere if you do travel or you do want to take part in this, whatever the case may be, that a requirement will be you have to be vaccinated. You'll be able to use this digital wallet, pull it out, show it to whomever, and then prove you have been vaccinated fully, or depending on which one you take, what stage you're in. If you're in the first stage or the second stage, I even heard they're trying to split the first one uh, up so more people can get vaccinated with apparently nothing because it's not as useful in the one dose.
Yeah, you need
If you
both
got to take
doses.
right, they're talking about anyway. Side story. All that to say, with this app, you'll be able to show what stage of the vaccination part you're in, or if you've completely been vaccinated. So I just wanted to pull those two stories out to show that
You
this
got
digital
proof.
wallet thing, it's a real thing and it's coming. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Get prepared. Now, I wonder how this is going to
Mhm.
work for people who don't have smartphones. Are they still going to have
That
keep
is
paper?
the
Because there's still some people with the
that
flip.
is Right, right. I would hope they would then, the good old text message, SMS, being able to text a number to someone and so forth to check your status. So, maybe there's a way. I didn't read anything to say how they're going to address that. My guess is, they have to figure out something, or I guess you'll just have to carry a document. But I
Yeah.
mean, there's smart people. So I would assume they'd come up with some way to be able to, give you an ID number, give you a something to where they can then go check and verify.
Like a social security card. But I mean,
I,
at the same time, we have people that aren't housed. So I don't know how that'll work either. It may just go back to just good old fashioned paper for
yeah,
for the minority cases, because pretty much a lot of people, most people have smartphones. There are some who don't, and some who choose not to, and some who can't. But for the most part, mostly everybody has a smartphone. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's it for second string. Let's head over to For the Culture, where we talk about any cultural relevant thing we want to. And this week, as we alluded to earlier in the show, and as we talked about on the pre-show, Donald Trump and his incitement of the riots and the attempted coup at the U.S. Capitol on yesterday. So how we wanted to tie this in on For the Culture, it looks like the platforms, and when I say platforms, I mean in social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they are all finally taking action 2 weeks before he leaves office on the outgoing president. Facebook and Instagram indefinitely revoked his access to the platform. Twitter took down the video that he made. People were calling for him when the violence was at its peak. People were calling for him to come out and calm down his supporters who were taking over the Capitol in his name. So he did send out a tweet about keeping it peaceful. That was enough because they were still raging lunatics, destroying the Capitol. So then he was forced to put out a video, and the video was not helpful at all. They're good
Right.
people. They're special. Oh, he called them. You're special. We
We
love
love
you.
you.
We
Oh my
understand why
goodness.
you're doing this, but go
Right.
home. He had that video on pretty much all the platforms, and like I said, Facebook, which owns Instagram as well, indefinitely suspended his accounts. Twitter pulled down the videos and the tweets that were associated, and said that if he does something else like this, they are going to, because he's suspended on Twitter as well, but they haven't revoked his access. He can, get back on, but they said that if he does anything like that again, they will, permanently revoke his access according to Twitter rules.
Hmm.
So my question is,
And it's not just.
oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Well, I was going to do a quick another rundown. So it's not just Facebook, the popular ones: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
To
YouTube. Will punish
Shopify.
Trump and other channels that continue to spread electric lies. Shopify took down the campaign store for
You're not
selling
buying no more
merchandise.
hats.
Right. Twitch removed his account.
He had a
Let's
Twitch
see who
account.
else.
That's crazy.
I apparently because they yanked that too.
So
Yep.
honestly, anything that's socially or media related, they're pretty much icing the old boy out. So
Hmm.
I have a question, but honestly, we know the answer to it. Why do you think it took so long for them to finally take down and silence Trump?
There's no ramifications a week and a half, 2 weeks out from him leaving office anyway. I mean, you could make the argument that, now after, Biden gets inaugurated on the 20th or the 21st, I can't remember which day. But even after he gets inaugurated, he'll become a civilian, so he can use these accounts. With the exception of the president of the United States, those official accounts will go over to Biden. But Donald Trump, all the heat that he's been tweeting is from his account, not the president's account. So he'll become a civilian and he can use those things however he wants. So I guess the argument against why now, well, we're sending him a message, but again, you know, um, to answer your question, less, liability for them, because they did this before this. They did this whole dance of back and forth, and they'll put a caption at the bottom of his tweets, say, for real, this tweet or this post may contain, wrong information. Here, click this link to see relevant, whatever the case may be. They kind of did this back and forth. Facebook, well, Mark Zuckerberg specifically said, well, I think, all the stuff that they did, they kind of danced around the idea because they didn't want to be held liable. So now everybody as a result of this stuff that went down yesterday, everybody is kind of in agreement that this was wrong. So now they can say, yeah, that's right. It's wrong too. They want to be on the right side of history, basically.
Jumping on the
So,
bandwagon late.
but exactly. Jump on the bandwagon and say this is what we're doing. Same way when, George Floyd, in the summertime, all these companies and all these corporations said diversity and inclusion, and all the commercials came out.
All the black
The companies are trying to
squares.
make
Yeah.
right. They're making sure they're on the right side of history when this stuff has been going on for the longest, and you Ben could have stood up. So the same thing we kind of said in the pre-show, about, uh, yes, there is something to it's never the wrong time to do the right thing, but there also is a such thing as this is too little too late.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, this is too little too late because Trump has been talking crazy for the past 4 years. And just now, all of a sudden, because of this event that's happened, now you decide, oh, well, maybe we need to do something. Sure, this event was crazy. I'm not saying, I'm not, making light of all this stuff that happened yesterday, but that's just icing on the cake. This ain't the first time, and they could have been did something. So good for you for taking a stand, but
Woo-hoo.
uh, doing right. You're supposed to do right. You don't get any kudos for doing the right thing.
Right.
So I'm not giving you any kudos for it. Good for you, but yeah, y'all could have been did that.
I have no passes to give. Zero, zilch,
Right.
none. The only solace is that once 12:01 p.m. January 20th hits, he is now a regular citizen and his account is subject to all of the rules that everyone else is subjected to. So I think that's what they're trying to say is that, once he's no longer president, he doesn't have the elected official protection. I don't know why elected official needs to have protection on social media anyway. Why should they have special protections? They shouldn't just be allowed to go out and say anything that they want. They should be still subject to the same terms and conditions that everyone else is, but that's a different story for a different day. But I think we all are woefully aware of why folks are doing what they're doing because 2 weeks left. They want to be able to say, oh yeah, we took his account, we suspended. They want to be able to write their own narrative. But let me tell you, the North remembers this revisionist
Right.
history is not going to work, friends, at all.
Right. Especially as it relates to the internet, because the internet never forgets.
It's forever. It's forever. All right. I think that's it on For the Culture. Unless you had anything else you want to talk about, I think. Okay. All right. Yep. Because we are just at about an hour. The show went kind of long this week, so I don't know. Do you have a hookup? Do you have anything you want to?
Take some time to step away from the television. Don't stay glued onto it 24 hours a day. But full disclosure, Once I get done with this podcast, I'm probably gonna go right
Go right
upstairs
upstairs
and
and
go
turn it
turn on the
on.
news.
I'm going to
But I
hit
did
Twitter
take
as
this
well
hour. Right, I did. We did take this hour and a half to do the show,
to
so that
unplug.
counts as my
Yeah.
stepping away time. But for everybody else, it's easy to be glued to this stuff. It's easy to
It's
yell at the
doom
TV and then
watch,
get on
doom
Twitter
scroll.
and
Yeah.
take some time. I ain't saying don't do it, don't engage in it because you need to know what's going on, and they make it as easy as ever. But do take some time, step away from it. Hang out with your kids for a second, play some video games, do the other stuff that we normally tell you to step away from. Step away from the news and do the other terrible
Do
stuff.
some fun stuff, do some self-care,
Get on Zoom. Get
Yeah.
on Zoom or something.
Go make a cocktail. Terrence got a new cocktail set. Come up with you a new
Exactly.
cocktail. Do something
Yeah, I may just do that.
to give your mind a little bit of break. I know for me, that looked last night like looking at some videos that I had in my bookmarks on Twitter. There was this trend where people would use kind of like the robot voice, and they would tell the stories of like dogs. Like one dog, he got out and he chewed the doorknob off while the parents left. He was mad because they left him, so he ran outside. So it was like just those little things that make you laugh and make you chuckle, just to kind of show you that there is good in this world. There are things that we can be happy about. There are things we can smile about. So let's take advantage of those things that do make us smile as well.
Yep.
And that's your hookup for this week. All right. Definitely download, rate, and review us. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. You can also hit us up on social media. We are at snobOS Cast everywhere, meaning Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also catch us on YouTube. We're at snobOS Cast. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. That definitely helps us out. And you can also feel free to drop us a line or comments or suggestions at our website, which is snobOScast.com, or hit us in the inbox at snobOScast@gmail.com. Again, if you want to get on the inside track, join us and become a Patreon. You can do this at patreon.com/snobOScast. And for as little as $5 a month, you can get access to our pre-show content, live taping of the show, as well as the ability to chat one-on-one with us. So I think that's it for this week. Take care of yourself, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Bye.